start.
Good morning. It's good to see you all here this morning. It's good to be here with you. And as we've been talking about, and if you saw the video that we put out yesterday, these are uncertain times for us. And, you know, there's a lot of fear that's going around. There's a lot of anxiety that's going around. And so we felt that it was important to be here this morning. And apparently you did too. So we're glad to see each and every one of you this morning. And our live stream is going this morning, and we know there's a lot of people at home, so we want to say hello to them who's watching from the safety or comfort of their own living room and their own couch. So we're just so glad to be here this morning. And I just want to reiterate some of the things that we're not supposed to be doing. Like, you get personal space here now, right? If there's ever that person that's like in your face, you know, and just constantly, you're like, hey, I'm not being rude, right? Right, Jamie? Like, I'm not being rude, but you have to stay away from me now by law. It's recommended. But we said no handshakes, and we're not doing communion this morning because of the recommendations of our governor as well. So in lieu of handshakes, we've talked about you can do fist bumps, right? You can do elbow bumps. And Donna brought up that's not a good idea because now they tell us to cough in our elbow, so it might not be a good idea. So we talked about good games too, but there's a toilet paper shortage, so you might want to do that one at your own risk. So we're glad you're here this morning. We're glad everybody's at home. And stand and sing with us this morning, please.
But
We understand that a lot of what's coming up in the next few weeks is going to cause a lot of uncertainty, and maybe some of our families look at some hardships because of some of the things that are going on, and as well in our community and small businesses, and just how this is going to hit. We really don't understand at this point. But we want to serve one another. We want to serve the community around us the very best that we possibly can in this time. And we have some ideas of what that looks like, but we're not really for sure what's going to happen. We're not really for sure exactly what you need. So today, after this gathering is over, if we can get everybody back in the room, we're just going to have a conversation, and we're going to ask some questions about what you think you're going to need, or what you think the community is going to need, and maybe just figure out how we can step into this time and serve one another. And if we can take care of the needs of one another, then we can talk about going beyond that and looking at our community and what we can provide for them as well. And so that's one of the things that's going to happen this morning after this gathering. So a little after 12 this morning, we're just going to sit down in this room, 3 to 6 feet apart from one another, and have a conversation about what it is that we think is going to occur and what it is that we think we can do to help serve in this time. One of the other things I want to mention, I've been mentioning for the last couple weeks, which is different for us because it's not something that we talk about a lot, but we've been talking about giving. We've been talking about giving quite a bit because the way that you used to come in and give, the big white ugly box that was back there, is now gone, and there's a new gray box that has a lock on it that's affixed to the wall, and you can drop your envelopes in the top of that. As well, we do have these things in our pockets called cell phones, and you can pull that out. You can go to portsmouthcbc.org, and you can go to the Give button, and you can give electronically. You can even set it up to where it's recurring, and you don't have to go back and do it again on there if that's something that you want to do. As well, if you're at home, you can go to portsmouthcbc.org and you can give, and you're planning on staying there for the next few weeks because you're not coming outside your doors and you still want to give at church. You can give that way. As well, if you're old school and you like checks, you can do P.O. Box 528, Portsmouth, Ohio 45662 as well with your tithes and offerings. But that's all I'm going to say about that. So at this time, we're going to turn our kids loose to go downstairs and tell somebody that you're glad that they are here this morning.
This is sort of an old song, but we really haven't done it here. And just in the spirit of getting ready for Good Friday and Easter, hopefully when all of this distancing is done, right? In a few weeks. We'll look forward to all coming back together. And this is one of the songs we'll be doing. Son, and make the rich his treasure. How great the pain of searing loss! The Father turns his face away as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon the cross. His wounds have paid my ransom. What should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart: His wounds have paid my ransom. Amen. Just a little chorus. This is sort of the song that stayed with me since the first of the year, so we sing it again this week, the goodness of God. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me, and all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkest nights you were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. We sing all my life. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after me. 'Cause your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Sing all my life. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Amen. There's just one song before Nels comes up. And this one, it's called Ghost. And if you were here a few weeks ago, then you've sung this with us, but I love the words towards the end where it talks about get ready, right? Get ready. All of this stuff is true. And it talks about this longing that we have for Christ to come. And there's a psalm and it says, oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. And that's what I think about with this song. Like, just come down and set it all right, you know? And that's what this song is about. Ghost. His ghost is a fire, a holy flame burning wild, burn through the night and burn with the light of a billion stars. His love is like lightning, cracking through the sky, burning through the rage and burning through the pain of a billion scars. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. All the stories are true. His ghost is inside me, a holy fire burning wild, burning through the things that need to be erased to liberate my soul. Get ready, there's an empty tomb. Get ready, there's a ghost in the room. Get ready, even mountains move. Get ready, all the stories are true. Get ready, there's an empty tomb. Get ready, there's a ghost in the room. Get ready, even mountains move. Get ready, all the stories are true. Heal, 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 heal. We are ready for your fire to fall. We are ready for your voice to call. We are ready for your lightning come. We are ready, into your arms we run. We are ready, let the heavens part. We are ready for the angels' songs. We are ready for death be done. We're ready for your kingdom come. We're ready, like a waiting bride. We're ready for your bread and wine. We're ready to burst to life. We're ready for you to set things right. So come on, so come on, come on. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready.
Please be seated this morning. You know, as we've been talking, this really is a moment of uncertainty in our lives, it's a moment of fear. And it can produce quite a bit of anxiety the more we think about it. But you know, life's always uncertain. There's always dangers. There's no guarantee of anything, right? And if you have a sober mind, you know that. If you know what the world is, if you know what's around you, if you know just the very little thread that everything hangs on by. The thing we talk about here is there's no chance you live this life and you escape suffering. Suffering exists around every corner. What we've identified in this is there's things that we can prevent and there's things we can't prevent. Right now, we're in a moment that we can't necessarily prevent. It's one of those things that happen to us. We can get sick. People around us can get sick. But that's every day. Like, there's worse things in this world that we're afraid of, like cancer. There's no guarantee. Fear is constantly there. It's always there. We're always in the face of something, if we're sober. Like, if you want to find something to be afraid of, like, there's no lacking in this world. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nowhere you can't look. You can't find something to be afraid of. The interesting thing about this message this morning could easily be titled Leading in the Face of Fear, or Leading Through Uncertainty. Now, what's interesting about that is I didn't pick this message out, right? We're still in Luke, and we've been going by Luke a couple verses at a time for over a year now. It just so happens that this is the one that we end up on today, and it's crazy. And I say that to say that if you think Jesus isn't relevant today in your life, you don't have a sober mind. See, this is the thing that we keep talking about here is we talk about this addiction to the pursuit of happiness, this addiction to feel safe. Right, this pursuit to security. We talk about how we get so crazy about chasing after the things in life that we think are going to make us happy that we forget and we just put away all of these things that are things that could happen to us. First and foremost, we talk about doing things that bring suffering into our lives. We all are doing things, most likely, that bring suffering into our lives, or we have done things that have brought suffering into our lives because we think that somehow we're going to break through that and it's going to make us happy. Right? Also, we get to the other side of it and we're like, I'm not happy. I'm even worse than it didn't make me happy, or it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or I made some really bad decisions and now I'm paying for it. Like, Lord, if I could just get this over. We often do. We get another opportunity. And the same thing stands in front of us, and this addiction in our mind to this is going to make me happy takes over, and we do things that we know that we shouldn't do because it's going to make me happy, and then we get into it and we're like, man, again, here I am, like I'm not happy, like it's worse. So we continue to add suffering to our lives, and this is what Jesus is largely talking about in this passage, and he's telling the people of Israel, and he's telling those who are following him, he's like, quit doing the things that's destroying you. There's a lot of uncertainty around us that we can't necessarily control, and this is the same thing he's going to tell them. But these things that you keep doing to yourself over and over and over, these are the things that are destroying you. We worry about all the external factors. We're terrified about all the external factors, but we're not doing the things that we need to do, that we can do to drastically and immediately affect our health and well-being. But we're all running around scared, right? Terrified. I just want to be happy. I just want to feel safe. Identified. There's no such thing. You're not going to chase after the things of this world and find happiness. You're not going to chase after the things of this world and to find security. If you have a sober mind, you know that. There's so many things that are contained with suffering around us that are just going to come that we can't stop. But there's the things that you can stop, and this is where we've got to be vigilant, right? to know that there is a better way than to continue going face first into all these things that continues to hurt us and to beat us up and to destroy our lives. This is what Jesus is telling the Israelites. He's like, hey, you're wanting to defeat Rome. You're wanting to defeat your enemies. Like, you keep rising up against the Roman Empire who has overthrown you and who indwells you. And he's telling them, like, if you keep ticking them off, they're going to destroy you. He's like, I know you want to be happy. I know you want to have all the power. I know you want to have all the wealth. I know you want to have the security of knowing that all your enemies have been defeated and they're beneath you and you control them. You have power over them. He's like, I know you want all these things, but the way you're going at this, you are destroying yourselves. You're not doing it the right way. I'm telling you, my way is the right way. Let me be your guide. Go about this life in the way that I'm telling you to go about this life. Look at the example that I am setting before you. Look at the way that I am leading through fear. Look at the way that I am leading through all this uncertainty. Look at my focus. Look at what I'm doing. This is the way. Let me be your guide. The same thing is true to us today. As a church, we're here because we have a purpose. We have a purpose. You know, the thing that's interesting about the Christian church, when the Christian church thrives the most? It's when the whole world around us is just falling down. In countries to where it's illegal to be a Christian and people are taken out and being killed for being Christians, Christianity thrives. It thrives. Like, in the face of fear, Christianity, it thrives. The message of Jesus thrives in the face of fear. Think about that. Why is that, right? Why is that Christianity thrives? Because we have a purpose, and our purpose is to step into the midst of suffering and to do everything that we can to serve those who are suffering, to give them hope in the midst of that situation, and to get them to the other side of it, to say that this too will pass, we will get beyond this, and then we're going to face more, and we're going to face more, and we're going to face more, but we're going to be prepared for it this time because we've been here, and we're going to go further, and we're going to cast more hope, and we're going to show people just exactly what can be accomplished. God, that's that leavened bread, right? That little bit of leaven that goes into the bread and just grows it. And we talked about how the illustration was 144 cups of flour, and it created some 400 and some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches out of all the bread that was baked, because every little thing that we do unselfishly, right, for those around us in pursuit of the kingdom of God, everything that we do just benefits everyone around us so much greatly. It casts that hope in the midst of all of this suffering and says, hey, look here. There's something that you can set your eyes on. There's a direction that you can go that will overcome all this. It won't take away the suffering that comes into our lives that we can't control. It's still going to be. It'll keep you from doing the stupid things that you do that bring suffering into your life. It won't keep this suffering out of it. This stuff's still going to be here. But if you focus on what I'm showing you, if you focus on what I'm telling you to do, you will go through these things and you will make it to the other side, and you'll look back at them and you'll be even stronger on the other side. You'll be less afraid. You'll have peace and you'll feel the rest that is coming. You'll see the day ahead to where all this is gone, and you'll just constantly be building hope and faith and trusting me in this process. This is the people we are. It's moments like this where we thrive because this is our purpose. It is the purpose of the church. Step into the midst of suffering, the suffering of life, and to direct people to hope. This is what Jesus was trying to do with the Jewish people. The Jewish people had chased after this pursuit of happiness. They had chased after this kingdom that they desired, that they thought was going to make them happy, this power, this wealth that they thought was going to make them happy, this security that they thought was going to make them happy. But actually what they were doing was they were just completely destroying themselves. And the things that they were afraid of existed, but they could have overcame those things. They could have overcame those things. Jesus is telling them, quit acting the way you're acting against the Roman government. Against them. Like, do things my way. He's like, you keep fighting against them, and I guarantee you, it's going to cost you every last cent. They're going to destroy you. Right? You're for these things. It's going to make me happy. It's going to make me safe. But what you find out is when you do things your way, when you let the fear control you, when you let the anxiety control you, when you let the uncertainty control you, when you react to it instead of respond in the way that Jesus has asked you to respond, it will absolutely 100% destroy you every time. The people of Israel found this out in 70 AD. Check it out. Rome finally got tired of messing with Israel. They walked into Israel, and they completely decimated the nation of Israel. Not a house left. Not a stone left upon a stone. They weren't even considered a state or nation for some 2,000 years after that moment. 2,000 years, they're wiped off the face of the planet. Their house was gone. Their nation was gone. Their people were scattered that were living. This is us. We decimate ourselves. We destroy our lives because we chase after the things that are going to make us happy. And we let the fear control us, anxiety control us. We let the uncertainty control us time and time and time and time again. But in the midst of all of this, the church is standing here saying there's hope, that you don't have to go after these things. Jesus has shown us the way. He has shown us that you do not have to let fear control you, that you do not have to let this addiction to the pursuit of happiness control you. And as a matter of fact, like, it's destroying you to give you this mindset and understanding that you can't do these things, that you can't accomplish these things that you want to accomplish. It's just not going to happen. It's going to destroy you. Jesus says, here is the way. Here is the way. I am the way. Let me show you the way. Let me guide you through these uncertain times. Let me lead you to hope. Let me paint a picture. Let me give you a vision. Let me set a direction for you to go so that you can overcome all these things. Now, the key to that is we have to abandon the direction that we choose. Which should be easy if we can realize that it just keeps beating us up, right? And keeps breaking us down and just keeps controlling us and keeps enslaving us, keeps getting more power over us, keeps pushing us down further, right? Keeps beating us up and bruising us further. Like, if it should be easy, because the further we get into it, but this intoxication of what's going, this addiction portion of what's going to make me happy, right? It just overcomes all good sense. Like, we're just completely intoxicated and there's no sober mind. We're like, yeah, again, until one day it's too late. And that's what we talked about last week. Like, do you want to take chances? Do you want to keep chasing after and thinking that you can make yourself happy and do the things that you need to do? Like, do you think that you can overcome these things? Or can you just turn from that? Or should you just turn from that and turn to Jesus? Jesus says that his way is the way. It's the only way. And the question is, do you want to take chances with your life? Do you want to take the chances to see? Do you feel lucky? You think you got this right? Do you want to go your way? Or do you want to go his way to overcome these things? We know what our way turns into. But we keep thinking, maybe there's a chance, right? Maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's. So today we move over into this passage, and we're in chapter 13, and we're going to start with verse 31. And as I told you, it really is, this passage is so beautiful for the moment in time that we are in right now, and just what is going on in the time of Jesus, and what we're looking at. And I couldn't have picked one better, I don't think, than what is here and just how this is lined up. But anyways, we're going to jump into this. And this is Jesus as he's still continuing to go from village to village, from town to town, and he's teaching along the way. And we know that he's on his way somewhere. He's going in a direction. He's going to a place, right? He's going to Jerusalem. But along the road to Jerusalem, along the way that he is going, he stops in all these different cities, and he talks to the regular people. The Pharisees always come out. The scribes usually come out. There's some sort of religious leader, the head of a Sanhedrin or somebody that's got something to say to him. So there's constant conversation. So here we are in verse 31. It says, just at that time, in this village, as Jesus is going through and teaching, some Pharisees approached, saying to him, "Go away, leave here. for Herod wants to kill you. It goes back to you remember the Herod when Jesus is born that is going out and killing all the babies in the land that has control, right? So this is the son. Now remember, Rome is in control of Israel at this point in time. Now, Rome is their power is more centrally located around Jerusalem. And so they've chose some other leaders in the outskirts that's further out, like in Galilee where Jesus is from. And Herod is the son of the Herod that most of us know, and he is chosen and put in power, basically because they know that he's going to do what he needs to do to benefit him. He's going to do what Rome wants him to do. Like, he's not growing a conscience and doing what's right anytime soon. He's one of the Jewish people, and they've placed him in power. And so the Pharisees are coming and saying, hey, as long as you're here in Galilee, you're out here. He says, Herod wants to kill you. Herod is going to kill you. Just to say, you need to leave us, like you're disrupting our life, and we want to make you afraid so that you will get out of our town and quit teaching people the things that you were teaching people, because we were perfectly happy in everything that we were doing and everything, the fear that we were using to control them and everything that we were getting. We were perfectly happy before you showed up. We can't have you coming in here and giving them other ideas and giving them a different way than the way that we've shown them and setting them free. We can't have this. So they tell him, hey, Herod wants to kill you. Get out of here. So here we are, Jesus in a moment of people trying to control him with fear. And it's a threat of death, right? He is going to kill you. Does he have the power to do so? Well, as far as they were concerned, he had the power to do so. And so Jesus should have been afraid. His people should have been afraid. The person who controls Galilee is going to come, and he wants to kill Jesus. So they're probably saying, hey, like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. And Jesus answers the Pharisees, and he said to them, he says, you go and tell that fox, behold, I cast out demons and perform cures today and tomorrow. And on the third day, I reach my goal. So Jesus answers this moment of anxiety, this moment of fear, this moment of a threat to be killed. Jesus answers, and he says, you go tell that fox. Now, fox is really interesting, okay? A fox comes down to, we know what a fox is, but a fox is, and used in this way is a crafty person. This is a person who is maybe, first of all, they're usually evil. Like, they're looking to manipulate other people to get them to do something that benefits them, right? And typically, these are smart people, right? These are smart people who have figured out how to get power and to create fear over other people to get them to do what they want to benefit them. But sometimes they're just like Herod. There's some punk in this lineage of other punks that ended up with some power, right, and has the ability to use people because of that power to get what they want. But Jesus, anyways, he says, you go tell that fox. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? I don't know where we've heard about things like this before, people who get put and push everyone else around them to bring about their agenda. That just sounds familiar. It's something they use fear to do that quite often too, right? Maybe politics, maybe religion. Like, I'm pretty sure we're quite familiar with this. And Jesus says, you go tell that old fox. He says, look, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to be here today. I'm going to be here tomorrow. And on the third day, I'm going to complete what I was sent here to do. I'll be casting out demons, and I'll be healing people today and tomorrow. You let him. Go tell him. And I will complete it. You go tell him. Sly, smart guy, how smart he is. You tell him, I can't be controlled. I'm here, and I have a purpose, and I'm going to fulfill that purpose. It says, nevertheless, I must journey on today and tomorrow and the next day. For it cannot be that a prophet would perish outside of Jerusalem. And I think this is interesting because Jesus isn't necessarily saying, he didn't saying, okay, he didn't respond to, or he didn't react to what it was. He's like, we're going to dig in and we're going to fight this fight against Herod here. He says, we're going to go about our own business. Like, we're on our way to Jerusalem and we're going to keep going to Jerusalem. This is a lot of our response to fear. This is a lot of our response when we're attacked, right? This is what we do. Even though we're doing something, that we have a purpose and we're going about that purpose, when somebody takes a jab at us or somebody does something to us that's trying to stop us, that's trying to get us to quit doing, make us afraid, trying to control us, right? We often react to that in a way that we just bunker in. Let's fight. Let's go head on, right? Let's just get this out of the way right now, right? This is how we usually react to things. Reminds me of a story from a conference years ago, and a guy that was speaking, and he was talking about a friend that had a farm down in Tennessee, and I tell this illustration all the time. You've probably heard this illustration from me before. But he said he had a friend that had a farm down in Tennessee, and he said on that farm, he was like 15 dogs on this farm. And said there was train tracks that ran through the middle of this farm. And every time a train came down the tracks, all those dogs on the farm would run out and bark at this train like they're going to tear the train off the tracks, right? He said, but they never did. The train just went on, right? As you can imagine, like freight trains and dogs. Like, dogs aren't going to stop trains. And that's actually the moral of the story, is barking dogs don't stop freight trains. This is what Jesus is saying. Jesus is saying, look, I've got a mission, I've got a vision, I've got a purpose, and I'm going to achieve it. And I'm not going to get distracted with what people are saying. I'm not going to get distracted with the fear. I'm not going to get distracted with all the things, all the uncertainties around me. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to keep going towards Jerusalem. I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm going to keep doing what I was put here to do. Because barking dogs don't stop freight trains. He says, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together, just as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you would not have it." It's interesting that we see this now as he stops and he talks about Jerusalem. He talks about what they're going, and Jesus really reveals the complete mission here and what he's doing. He has set out to save the people of Israel, represented by Jerusalem. And he's lamenting over those people at this moment in time because he knows that he's come to save. He knows that he has the ability to save, right? And he gives this illustration. It's interesting that he shows himself as a hen that gathers her chicks under her wings. It's a really, really, really interesting illustration. And he realizes what he's going. This is all showing us exactly what's going to happen. He's told us what's going to happen when he gets to Jerusalem. He knows that he is going to lay down his life in Jerusalem. He knows that exactly what he's going for. He's told them exactly what's going to happen. We know at this point mostly what his purpose is, and this is really him unfolding his purpose and why he's doing what he's doing. And this is the mission. My heart is broken for my people. My heart is broken for you. And it is my desire that I save you. This is what I'm on a mission to do. I'm going to save you from this fear and this uncertainty. I'm going to save you from the things that you continue to do to yourself. I'm going to save you from the destruction that lies ahead of you. I'm going to save you from the eternity that you are carving out for yourselves. That is my purpose. He says, and I desire to do this like a hen that gathers her chicks under her wings. Now, that's a crazy illustration, especially when you see Herod as a fox, right? What Jesus is saying is that he's gathering them in to keep them safe, but something that's interesting around this time and the way that fires existed in these older cities, and a small fire would start and it would just, the half of the city would burn down around this time. That actually you had the Great Fire of Rome, and you saw this, and historians that talk about this. And one of the things that's mentioned is when these big fires would go through, or when barns catch on fire, it's common to find a hen whose wings are out, who has been burnt and killed by the flames. And when they move her wings, the chicks run out alive, because she has taken them in and given them shelter and protected them from the destruction and sacrificed herself in the process. This is exactly what Jesus is saying. I'm here to do for you. I'm here to save you from the destruction. He says, but you would not have it. So the illustration there is that mother hen that is trying to gather the chicks in, but the chicks just keep running, right? They just keep running scared. They just keep running afraid. They just keep running in the direction that they think they're going to save themselves. They're going to make themselves happy. They're going to beat this on their own, right? He says, I'm trying to gather you, and I'm telling you, I am your guide. I am your way. I am the one that is here to save you. If you would just hold still, if you would just turn and look at me, if you would just come to me, I will save you. This is the illustration. This is what I've come for. This is my purpose. This is what I'm doing. I'm here to save you from the destruction. He says, behold, he says, your house is left to you desolate. And I say to you, you will not see me until the time comes when you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. He says, your house is left. He says, your house is gone. He says, I want you to understand something. You've come to the end of what you're trying to accomplish. You've come to the end of this happiness that you think you're creating. You are at a place, you're at a delicate place right now to where your house is gone. This country that you have built, you are at a place that it is left. It is about to go away. It is desolate. It is gone. And he said, I say to you, he said, I come to save you from this. I come to save you this, but you will not be able to see me. You will not be able to come to me until you turn and you look at me. Right? You will not see me. You will not understand what I'm doing, understand my purpose. You'll not understand who you are in light of that. You'll not understand your purpose until you take the time, until you come to me, it says. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Until you understand that I am the way, that I am the truth, that I am the Messiah, that I am the Lord sent by your God. Until you submit to me, until you do what I have asked you to do, you come the direction that you're going. You will not see how you're controlled by the fear. You will not see how the anxiety runs through you and why this is. You will not see these things, and you will be destroyed until you give over to the fact that I am the way, until you let me guide you, until you let me save you, until you let me lead you through this, until you accept the hope that I've put out before you, until you turn to me, you will not see me. Your house is dead. This is that sober mindset, is to realize that this is our lives, right? We're at a place all the time to where this is where we're at. The fear and the uncertainty is there. If you look like, what are you chasing after? Maybe you've messed it up so bad that you just don't know how you're going to take a step forward. And this is a good place to be, because they couldn't figure this out. They couldn't figure out that's where they're at. Jesus is like, you pretty good weather people. It's like, you know when it's going to rain. You know when you see these signs, it's going to rain. You know when you see these signs, it's going to be hot. right? He said, but look at these signs that you see that your destruction is coming, that the end is near, that your house is gone. And you can't figure this out. But if you're at that place to where you can see it, that place where you're afraid because you know where you are, that's a good place to be. That's a good place to be. Because this is the place where you have to make a decision. The place where you have to make a decision to continue doing what you've been doing when you know what the result is. And you know if you take another step, exactly what it means. It's a place you can turn to the hope that is set before us by Jesus. And to step into that and to look upon Him. And to allow Him to guide you through the uncertainty. The fear of death, he says, you go tell him, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to be here today. I'm going to be here tomorrow. And I'm going to complete the mission that I've been given. You'll find me in Jerusalem. You want to find me? You'll find me in Jerusalem doing exactly what I was sent here to do. There's nothing that you can say that's going to stop me. You're not going to scare me. You're not going to cause me to lose focus in what I've been placed here to do. I know what is right. I know what is true. I know what my purpose is, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll be here today and tomorrow casting out demons and healing people from the brokenness of this world. I've come to save them, and if they'll just turn to me, that's where I will be. This is our message today. I think that it's fitting and relevant for where we are as a church. And that's why we're here today, in the midst of everything that's going on around us. We can get distracted. We can go hide. We can run. We can be afraid. We can sit in front of the news and let the anxiety and everything constantly control us. And we cannot achieve the purpose that we are placed here to do because we become overwhelmed by those things. But we can dig in and we can remember, wait, yeah, this is exactly why we're here. This is exactly who we are. We were made for times like this. And as a matter of fact, it's time to say, hey, every time's like this. There's suffering nonstop around us all the time. This is our purpose. Almost like this just wake us up. They sober us up. They drain out that intoxication. That addiction goes away because we realize what things are important because they're staring us right in the face. Here it is. Deal with it. Make a choice, right? And here we are. Here we are in a place where fear surrounds us. Even the fear of death surrounds us. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? Well, Jesus stepped into it. He said, okay, you tell them. We're going to be here today. We're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to keep doing what we do. We're going to keep giving the same message. We're going to keep doing what we were put here to do. This is why I'm here, Jesus says. This is why I'm here. And I'm going to complete the mission that I was given by my Father. Church, we have a mission. The mission is to step into the midst of suffering. We're going to suffer. Everyone around us is going to suffer. We're going to step in the midst of that. And we're going to figure out exactly what we can do to help. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. What is it that we can do to be this picture of hope, right? Because this is what it is that drives us. This is what we're chasing. You know, when there's fear and when there's all this anxiety and all this destruction, we lose sight and we just fall in and we just crawl up in this ball in the fetal position and we just want to hide and we just want to die. But this is the moment that we have to declare hope, that we have to declare Jesus, that we have to declare that there is a better way. Hey, first and foremost, like you can't run from these things. We can't stop these things from happening. They're coming. If it's not this, it's the next thing. And if it's not the next thing, it's one of the bigger things that's already here. There's enough to be afraid of. There's enough to distract us. There's enough to make you go hide in a hole and be a hermit and never come out of it. Like if you want to and think about it, there's enough to just destroy you and decimate you every day if you're sober and you're thinking of it and you're not intoxicated by this pursuit of happiness that steals our lives and destroys us. But we're going to stand in the middle of that because we know Jesus. We know his ways. We know what he set before us. We know what's waiting on us. We know that even here and now in the midst of this suffering that we can move joy because we're fulfilling the purpose that he has given us. Jesus said, I will finish what I have come to do. And that includes laying my life down. You want to kill me? You're going to get your opportunity. But by killing me, I'm going to achieve exactly what I came here to do. And if that's what it takes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Church, we have a purpose. The purpose is to step into the midst of suffering, to reduce it, and to give people hope. We're not backing down from that. We're going to keep asking. As this situation changes, maybe we can't be here. Maybe there's things we can't do. But we're going to keep doing everything possible that we can to achieve what we've been placed here to do. We're not going to get distracted by the fear. We're not going to get distracted by what people say. We're not going to get distracted by the criticism. We're going to know this is who we are. This is what we're doing. And we're not slowing down. Today, tomorrow, and we will complete what we have set out. The message for you is this: let it go. The fear, the anxiety, the uncertainty, let it go. Have a greater purpose that is above all these things. The purpose is to save people from these things, to save people from the destruction, to save people from the suffering. Don't let it suck you in. Don't let it cause you to lose sight of your purpose. Don't let it cause you to run around like a chicken with its head cut off like everybody else going, I don't know what way to go, right? I'm just so afraid I don't know what to do. Like, we know what to do. Don't know what it exactly looks like. But every situation that's thrown in front of us, it's exactly what we're going to do. Focus. Go all in on what it is that we've been asked to do. This is what Jesus says, your loyalty to me, your loyalty to me. Go all in. Let it go. Focus. Because barking dogs don't stop freight trains. And what we've been given to do is greater than anything that could possibly stand in our way. The band's going to play a song, and we're going to come back up and pray. I ask that you just stand and sing with them.
My heart, Lord.
I think when we start to look at this situation, it's hard to even know what's true at this point. I know that there is a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot that's been created. I don't know what's true exactly. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm no expert, and the experts that are experts, they don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of people suggesting what's going to happen. I don't know what's true. But I do know who is true. I do know why we're here. I know that our purpose is to lead through this time and to lead through every other time. We're going to do it in a way that we don't stand before people and say, we know what you need, we know what you need, we know what you need. We don't know what they need. We don't even know what's going to happen yet. But we're going to do what good leaders do. So we're going to ask great questions. The best question we got is this: how can we help? How can we help reduce the... How can we bring you hope? That's who we are. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pray, and we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to gather back in this room, and we're going to start asking those questions and see what we come up with. So I'm going to pray, and you can get a cup of coffee at your own risk and come back in, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. Let's pray. Father God, we're so grateful, so thankful to be here this morning. Have the opportunity to be here this morning. Father, in the midst of everything that's going on, we pray dearly, Father. We don't downplay anything that's going on. We know that there's going to be suffering, Father. We know of suffering to the extent that people are going to lose their lives. Father, we pray for every person in this world, every person that is suffering, Father, for every reason that exists. I just pray, Father, you give us the courage. First of all, the sober mind to see the suffering. And then give us the courage to stand up, to step into it. And the opportunity to say, what can we do to help? Father, we know you have the resources to help. That you have the ability to use us in whatever gifts you've given us, whatever you bring to us in the process, Father. Let us just trust in that. Let us give our hearts and our lives to you and allow you to lead us as you desire to do. Out of the midst of the destruction and suffering and chaos of this world. In Jesus, whose name we pray for your glory. Amen. You are dismissed. Please hang around and let's have this conversation.